Have you ever found a totally brilliant solution in the most unexpected place? Well, today we're diving into this hilarious and honestly super clever story from a children's cartoon that's all about that. It's a tale of two friends, a messy uniform, and how real value often comes from being resourceful, not from having something shiny and new. Let's get right into it. So our story kicks off with this amazing line. Partner, I'm very sad today. And right away, you feel for them, right? But the reason they're sad, well, it's not what you'd think. It's not a lost toy. It's not a bad grade. Nope. It's something much more serious in their world. A brand new, perfectly clean school uniform. And that leads us right here to the problem with perfection. See, for our heroes, Badranath and Budeb, getting something new isn't exciting, it's a huge burden. They actually miss their old, messed-up uniforms that were covered in memories. This new, pristine one, it's just a blank canvas, practically begging to be ruined. So you've got this total clash of perspectives, right? On one hand, the school sees the new uniform as a symbol of discipline, of a fresh start for everyone. But for the boys, their old messy uniform was like a trophy. It told a story of their adventures. This clean one is just a problem they have to solve, not some standard they need to live up to. It's basically individuality versus conformity, playing out in the schoolyard. And just as they're stressing about their uniform crisis, bam, disaster strikes again. A leaky lunchbox completely ruins their new notebooks. So now, on top of everything else, their teacher is demanding they get covers for the books by the very next day. The pressure is seriously on. Okay, so this kicks off their next big mission, the quest for a shiny cover. And they're not just getting any cover. Oh no, they're being pushed by this rival classmate, Jiva, who's bragging about his fancy new one. So our guys set out to find the shiniest, most impressive notebook covers money can buy. The plan was perfect. In theory. Step 1, buy covers. But then came step 2, a shop filled with chocolates, cupcakes, and ice cream. And just like that, the entire mission gets derailed by snacks. We've all been there, right? They leave with full stomachs, but totally empty hands. So, with absolutely no money and a deadline that's getting closer by the minute, they've got to pivot. And this, right here, is where the story gets really, really good. They turned to a completely unconventional solution: old newspaper. This is the moment they shift from trying to buy a solution to finding value in something that most people would just toss in the trash. And when they get challenged on it, they don't back down. They don't see the newspaper as a failure at all. They completely rebrand it, declaring, "Who told you newspaper isn't a cover? This is our style, absolutely top-notch." Or, in their own words, la on top. They just turned a huge limitation into a bold fashion statement. And you've got to know about this phrase, lalan top. It's a colloquial Hindi term that basically means something is absolutely superb, totally excellent. But for Badranath and Budeb, it's way more than just a saying. It's like a whole philosophy. It's how they validate their own unique, out-of-the-box ideas and basically declare them genius. Of course, getting the newspaper wasn't exactly a walk in the park. Their first attempt, just asking a shopkeeper for some, totally fails. But do they give up? No way. Their second attempt is pure comedy gold. They pretend one of them has to tie their shoelace so they can snatch some discarded newspapers off the street. You have to admire that level of resourcefulness. And this whole newspaper solution leads directly to the most fantastic twist in the story. The very next day at school, the teacher announces a surprise quiz show. And that humble newspaper cover, it's about to become their secret weapon, hiding in plain sight. The quiz starts, and the first question is a real tough one. Who invented the number 0? You can just feel the pressure in the classroom. And their first guess? Oh, you're gonna love this. They guess the Bollywood actress Alia Bhatt. It is a spectacularly wrong answer, and it pretty much immediately establishes them as the underdogs here. Clearly, they're not going to win this with regular book smarts. But just when you think it's game over for our heroes, something shifts. Their luck is about to take a wild turn, and it is all thanks to that humble notebook cover they were almost embarrassed by. And here it is, the big aha moment. For the next question, who was the first person to walk on the moon? They actually spot the answer, Neil Armstrong, printed right there in a headline on their newspaper cover. Their makeshift solution just turned into the ultimate cheat sheet. So this sets up the final showdown. On one side, you've got Jiba with his fancy, expensive sticker, which represents buying your way to style. And on the other, you have Badranath and Butheb with their free, information-packed newspaper cover. The prize is a craft kit, sure, but what's really at stake here is a battle of philosophies. All right, here it is, the final deciding question, and it's a classic brain teaser. What is heavier, 1 kilogram of cotton or 1 kilogram of iron? This isn't a test of facts you memorize, it's a test of pure logic. And their rival, Jiva, walks right into the trap. He confidently blurts out, "The iron!" And you can just imagine that sinking feeling as he realizes his mistake a second too late. But our heroes, they take a second, they think about it, and they deliver the correct answer. They are both equal. And just like that, with that simple piece of logic, they win the whole thing. They won not just because of what was on their cover, but because of their own clever thinking. Now, winning the craft kit is awesome, but the real price here is the lesson they learn about value, about what's actually worth holding on to. And this one line just says it all. When they're offered a new shiny cover as part of their prize, they turn it down, saying, "We won't remove the newspaper that made us win." In that single moment, that newspaper cover is transformed. It's no longer a makeshift solution, it's a medal. It's a symbol of their victory and their friendship. Its value has nothing to do with how it looks and everything to do with its story. So what do they end up doing with that craft kit they won? In true Lalande Top fashion, they decide to use it to decorate a rocket. It's just the perfect ending, right? It just shows their unstoppable creativity and their spirit of making something amazing out of whatever they have. And that really leaves us with a powerful idea to think about. This whole story is a brilliant reminder to maybe redefine what we think of as valuable. What looks like a limitation, like a messy old uniform or a cover made of newspaper, can actually become your greatest strength. It really teaches us that being resourceful is always going to beat just buying something expensive. So here's a question for you. When has a simple, overlooked solution turned into your biggest, most Lalande Top win?